what quarter do I need to work on of my day, where if I can just get dialed in on this specific 4-hour time window or this specific 8-hour time window, that if I just dial in on this particular time frame, it will help me do the things that I need to do to get the things that I need to get done. Well, hello, champions, and welcome back to another episode of the Champion Life Podcast. I'm your host, Curt Tucker. Today, friends, we're going to talk about the 4 quarters of life. Here's what I mean by that. Is every single day, I chunk my day down into what I like to call my 4 quarters. What I found is that this has allowed me to be super productive and to always be able to get the things done that need to get done on a daily basis. Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you ever struggle with feeling overwhelmed? Do you ever struggle with feeling like you're behind, like you're just not getting everything that you need to get done? Especially for those of you who are busy entrepreneurs. For my husbands out there, that you've got multiple businesses, you're trying to be your best as a husband, as a dad, you're doing extracurricular things like coaching. I remember, coaching my kids' sports all those years. All those things can get fit in, but many times when I have conversations with especially busy guys, it's like, dude, how do you fit it all in? Or maybe you're a busy mom, right? And you're working outside of the house, but then we know that it just doesn't stop there. It's coming home and I've got meals to make and I've got things to get done and I've got kids to get to practice, and the demand is just huge. Well, here is what I've found over the years that's allowed me to be my very best on all areas that really matter. The 5 F's that I like to say, the faith area, the faith component, right? We know how important that is foundationally. Our fitness, our mental mindset, our emotional health, and our physical body. Our family life, right? Like being the best spouse that we can be in our marriage, but then also being a great loving parent. I can remember in the seasons where our kids played sports, it's like, do you ever feel like you get a break, right? That's an important time though, and that's an important part of your life, is being a great mom or dad. Then you have the business or the career responsibility, right? All the different things that you have to do to provide financially for your dreams and your goals and all those things, so that you can have the 5th F, a lot of fun. So if you're not having fun in your life right now, if you don't feel like you have freedom in your life, and let me just share this with you, success without fulfillment, it's the ultimate failure. You want freedom. Freedom is the goal. And so what I found is, to be able to have more freedom in my life, the more that I would live by my 4 quarters each day, the more freedom I felt, the more fun that I felt like I was having. So if you can relate with feeling overwhelmed sometimes, if you can relate with feeling like you should be getting more done, if you struggle with focus sometimes, this episode is going to be a great episode for you. So what I want to do is I want to break down what the 4 quarters are, and then what some of the things that I do in those 4 quarters today for you. And here would be the goal. Don't try to do every single thing. When I take the people that I coach through this, there's a process of implementation that needs to be done. And if you feel like that could be beneficial, then book a strategy call with me. We can talk about how we might be able to help implement some of these things into your life so that you can go next level. But hopefully today on this podcast, I can just give you a couple things that are very easy to implement into your life that will get results. So 4 quarters to me is chunking down my day into 4 quarters. And I make it real easy. I call it 5 to 9, 9 to 5, 5 to 9, 9 to 5. So, for me, for a large part of our life, especially when the kids were younger and the demand of my life was so much greater, all right, I would always want to rise by 5. I would want to get up in between 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. So the first quarter of my day, all right, is 5 to 9, okay? The second quarter of my day is 9 to 5. The third quarter of my day is 5 to 9 in the evening. And then the fourth quarter of the day is 9 at night to 5 o'clock in the morning. And so I created this structure in my life to begin to start thinking about what are the most important things that I need to do that are must that I get done in these 4 quarters that would check the box on the things that are most important in my life, the 5 F's, right? And what I did was I began to then start putting in those time blocks where those things were going to get done. See, there's a saying that says that if it's important, it should be on your calendar. And if it's on your calendar, it's important. So the first step of taking action and doing things that are important for you to go next level in your life is putting it in your calendar. It's scheduling it, okay? Because here's what happens is when we just live, as Jim Rohn says, so many people are just out there, living like in a sailboat with no set of the sail. They're just getting bounced around left and right by the direction of the water and the waves that are crashing them all over the place, and they're getting nowhere. Versus when you set your sail, when you know where you're going, when you have a vision for your life, you have a plan of action to get there, you have a detailed day where you're living a life by design, and you're saying that these are the most important things that I must get done each day, and you schedule them in, the likelihood of them getting done is great. And now what happens is naturally when you're doing those things on a daily basis, the results just come. So first quarter for me is 5 to 9. During that first quarter of the day is where I want to get all the things in the faith and the fitness section of my life done. So that first hour of the day, generally after I've woken up and I get, my normal stuff of brushing my teeth, but within 5 minutes of me waking up, I want to be in a cold shower. So that begins right off the bat for me to do something that is beneficial, not only for my body, because we know all about the benefits of cold showers. And I've talked about that on other episodes on the podcast, whether it be from, the fact that your body's releasing cold shock proteins, which are literally scouring your body of free radicals and helping you fight off disease. It's decreasing inflammation. It literally just creates this slow drip dopamine that's going to happen for the next 5 to 6 hours, which is the feel-good drug for your brain. So within 5 to 10 minutes of waking up, I'm already in a cold shower. I'm now going downstairs. I'm getting a glass of lemon water with some apple cider vinegar and some Baja Gold salt to hydrate my body, to get electrolytes in my system, all those different things. And now I'm going into my study where I have time to go and get into prayer and devotion and journaling and all the things that I do as a part of my morning routine. Now, here's the really cool thing about 5 to 9, the first quarter of the day, and having a plan of action, things that you do first thing in the morning to make sure that you're your very best spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And sometimes it doesn't always matter if you get up at 5 o'clock. If you just know that, hey, this is the first quarter of my day, and these are when I get these things done, and you know that these are the things that I do that help me my very best, what's going to happen is you're going to get those done within that time frame. So even if I do wake up, say, a little bit later in between that window of time, now what's going to happen is I'm still going to go do all those things that I'm used to doing every single day. I may shorten the time frame that I have to be able to do those things. I might not be able to spend as long in prayer or in journaling or in meditation or visualization. My visualization time, if I get up a little bit later, might be 5 minutes versus 15 minutes, but I'm still going to do those things that I do every single day that make me my very best, right? And so the first quarter of my day, that 5 to 9, I have time scheduled for me to be my very best, to do the things that I just mentioned, to work out for 30 minutes, to an hour, to meet with my wife and pray together and do a quick devotion together and talk about our day. What do we have going on? When the kids were in school, I would I would want to have those things done by 7:15 before they came downstairs so that we could make breakfast and we could have some time with them, right? So that required me to get up a little bit earlier when the kids had school throughout the week, or those things, versus on the weekend. But no matter what, 5 to 9 is the first quarter of my day. So I want you to just think about this for a second. If you each day do not have a constant joy and a constant peace in your life, and you feel like life is just crazy sometimes in the morning, and you are just like go 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 go, maybe just the first quarter of your day is where you really need to dial in. You really need to say, hey, listen, this first quarter of my day from 5 to 9, here are the things that I'm going to schedule in, that I'm going to make sure that during this time frame I'm going to get done, and really lock in on those things that you need to do to be your best spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So by 9 o'clock each day, friends, I've already done so many things that help me to be my very best and be on my A game, right? Okay, now the second quarter of my day is 9 to 5. Okay, now even though I don't work a job, and I haven't worked a job, in a couple decades now, or whatever it's been, I still like to schedule myself to work a particular period of the day. All right. Now, the great thing about being an entrepreneur is that you have freedom. Okay. The struggle with being an entrepreneur is you have freedom. No one's going to tell you that you have to show up to work. No one's going to make you do anything. And so that's where I feel a lot of people struggle, is if they don't have the self-discipline to do things like make the phone calls, do the whatever work it is that you do as an entrepreneur. Well, you got to get disciplined. And so there's got to be times scheduled. Like, I set times to record these podcasts throughout my week, right? I'm actually systematizing that even a little bit more right now, so that I can record all 4 podcasts for the entire month in one day. And so I believe in having a system and a process for almost everything. Your first quarter of the day literally should be systematized, right? Like, hey, I do this, then I do this, then I do this, then I do this. Now, why would I do that? I'm not living life like a robot, but can we just be real here? Most people are living life like a robot. We do the same things every single day, over and over and over again. The only problem is that many times, if we're not getting the result that we want in life, we're just doing the wrong things. So the great news is that if you can identify the areas of your life that you're struggling in, the areas of your life where you're not getting the result that you want, and you can begin to think about, well, what kind of person would I need to be? Like, who is somebody that, has what I want? Let me give you an example. Let's just say you're not where you want to be at physically. And you begin to start thinking about, well, what is it that I do on a daily basis versus, somebody who is in shape? I'm going to give my wife as an example, Rachel. Okay. My wife, Rachel's 53. She's in incredible shape. Okay. In all different facets, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. But let's talk about her physical body for a second. Okay. I've watched her work out almost every single day for the 20 years that we've been together, lifting weights, eating decently clean, not consuming a lot of sugar, a lot of bread, a lot of those things. She takes cold showers daily. She saunas from time to time. She gets bioidentical hormones. She takes supplements. She wears a stem cell reactivation patch. And guess what? She is in phenomenal shape at 53, at 5'6" and 136 pounds. Okay. Phenomenal shape. Now, I see other women who are in their 50s who are anywhere from 20 pounds, 50 pounds to 100 pounds overweight. And this is the same with men, by the way. Now, I'm just giving you an example of my wife, but if you weren't in the same shape as my wife was, does that make you less of a person? No, not at all. Does that make you less disciplined, though, or doing things with your time that she doesn't do, that you do, that has put you where you are from a physical standpoint? It just is what it is. It's no different than, your personal growth, right? If somebody reads 10 pages a day out of a good book, they listen to a podcast each day for 20 or 30 minutes, and they implement what that podcast is teaching them in a specific area of their life, are they going to be further ahead than the person that plays 30 minutes of video games a day, or plays 30 minutes of scrolling on Facebook or Instagram, or watches their favorite nightly, show on TV? We already know the way this works, friends. So it's not rocket science, but it does take discipline. And many times, discipline, self-discipline, is the ability to do what you know you should do, even when you don't feel like doing it. And so one of the things that I love to say is a champion is somebody who lives based upon their commitments, not their emotions. Because when you decide that you're going to do something, only a decision has been made. It's not until you take the action on the decision and you do what you say you're going to do that more than likely is going to get you the results that you want. And so when we don't feel like doing something, we have to ask ourselves the question, why do I not feel like doing this? Many times it's going to be something of uncomfortableness that's going to push us to not do whatever it is that we know we should do. And that's why I'm so big on the saying that sometimes you just got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, we got to get comfortable doing things that we don't necessarily want to do. For me, breathing sometimes is challenging for me, right? Like breath work on a daily basis, like Wim Hof breathing. Because when I begin to start doing those 2 or 3 sets of breathing, what happens is I really feel like, man, I just want to get up and go do something. Like, it's at the tail end of my morning routine. I'm actually thinking about bringing it closer to the beginning of my morning routine, because by the end of my morning routine, I'm like, man, I'm ready to get going. I'm ready to get after it. I'm ready to work on my goals. I'm ready to go work out. I'm ready to get my business day started. But I know how important breath work is, so I've started to create that as a daily discipline in my life, because ever since I heard Gary Brecka say that when you think about oxygen, he says the presence of oxygen is the absence of disease. Think about that. The presence of oxygen is the absence of disease. And so he began to start talking about why it is so important to breathe on a daily basis and to do breath work. So, of course, I want to live a long time. I want to be healthy. I want my body to be absence of disease. And so I started to breathe. But that's one of my newer disciplines that I've started to do on a daily basis. So therefore, it's very easy for me in the very beginning when you begin to do something, because it's not of your normal habit, to go back and do the things that you're always used to doing. So for me, it's, I'm going to jump up and I'm going to go downstairs at the end of my routine. I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee and I'm going to come back upstairs and get into some other stuff. Versus now, I'm going to say, no, even though you want to get up, this is important, Curt. So we're going to sit right here and we're going to do the 3 rounds of breath work. After that, you can get up and you can go get the coffee. So I've created a reward for myself. So I want to encourage you, when you create these disciplines, friends, that you stick to your guns, okay? That you say, you know what? Nope, I'm not going to revert back to the things that I've always done that ultimately have gotten you the results that you didn't want. So now, as I flow into my second quarter of the day, my work day, I've got all these different things done in those first 4 hours that have literally created this muscle in me, like, let's go. Like, I can take on the next 8 hours, and that's my work day. And that is from 9 to 5. And that is all about production. 9 to 5 is all about getting stuff done, getting tasks done, working on businesses, creating profit centers in my life, creating and generating income, investing, all those different things, doing the things that I love to do. And typically what I like to do during 9 to 5 is I have an 8-hour window where I want to have at least a 3-hour work block where for 3 hours, it is all about income producing activities. If you're in business, you have to turn a profit. And even if you're not in business, if you're in your career or whatever, you need to dial in long enough. It's been said that the average person works 90 minutes a day. They get truly 90 minutes, that's it, of focused productivity. So I want you to think about that. 90 minutes. Like, what if you could set up your day where you said, listen, I'm going to put my phone on do not disturb if I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm literally just going to dial in on the top 3 things that I need to do today to move me further ahead the quickest towards the goals that I have. And you literally just locked in for a 3-hour window. So for me, I love to work a 3-hour window from 10 to 1. I get into my office at 9 o'clock, I'll do some stuff. And then by 10 o'clock, 10 to 1 o'clock, many times I put my phone on airplane mode and I just dial in and I crush. I do whatever it is that I need to do. Then I like to get me some lunch. Sometimes I'll take a nap, for 20 minutes. When you're getting up at 5 a.m. sometimes, man, by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you're like, whew. So a 15 or 20-minute nap, now what that does is that literally refreshes me and I can get back up, and I might do another 2 to 3 hour work block. I might do some R&D on something that I'm working on, whether it's crypto investing or it's, certain things from a business standpoint. But the key is that second quarter is all about production so that I can be so productive during the work hours, so that guess what? The last 30 minutes of my day, I'm wrapping up the day. I'm literally figuring out, is there anything that I need to get done today? Because I'm not taking work home with me. When I'm done at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, I'm done for the day. I'm not going to be in my office until 7:30. I'm not going to be carrying work at home with me. I'm not going to be doing any of that stuff, because 5 to 9 starts the third quarter of my day. And the third quarter of my day is family time. Okay. That's when I need to be able to give my best to my family. That's when I want to go on a date night with my wife. We're going to enjoy a glass of wine and a tequila on the couch. And while she's cooking dinner, we're going to talk about our days. We're going to vision. We're just going to be together. Now, you might be in a season where you have kids and they're in sports. Trust me, I've been there. I coached all my son's teams when it came to, baseball over the summers, which were super busy for us. But you know what? I always had all my stuff done, and that way I could focus on the family. Man, that's a powerful word, by the way. Focus on the family. Like, I want to be where I am. How many times have you been where you're at physically, but not being there mentally because you didn't do what you needed to do? You didn't dial in and focus from that 9 to 5, that second quarter of the day. So now you're carrying those things into the third quarter, right? So the third quarter of the day is all about family time. It's all about enjoying, once again, it's about fun as well, right? So it's like, hey, I want to go and I want to have some fun. Maybe we're going to go play golf. Maybe we're going to go to a movie. Whatever the case is, we're going to go on a long walk as husband and wife. I'm going to be able to have time to connect with the kids. Like, all that stuff is dialed in from 5 to 9. All right. For me, I didn't want to work out after work because everybody needed me in the evening. My kids needed me, wife, all those things. So that's why I chose to do my workouts in the morning between that 5 and 9 a.m. so that before the kids were up, before they needed me, that was already knocked out. Or if I needed to do it right after they left for school at 7:30, 7:45, I could still get my workout in and be ready for 9 to 5. But that 5 to 9, that third quarter, is for family and fun. Okay. Now we get to the 9 to 5. Here's one thing that I truly believe is that a great day, even a great morning, starts the night before. So 9 to 5 for me, quarter 4, really is all about recovery. It's all about reflection for the day. What went good today? Okay, how can I get better? What does tomorrow look like? And now all of a sudden at 9 o'clock, I'm beginning to think about that. I'm beginning to relax. So it's all about reflection, relaxing, kind of winding down, taking it easy, and rest. I want to be asleep by 9:30, 10 o'clock. When you go to bed at 9:30 or 10 o'clock, it's easy to get up at 5 or 5:30. But when you're up scrolling, when you're watching TV, playing video games, watching a movie, favorite shows, even sporting events, as much as I love sports, I love the Bengals. I love the Buckeyes. All right. But if there's a late game many times and that game's not going to get over until 11:30, guess what? I'll watch the first hour, maybe hour and a half until 9:30 at the latest, and I'm going to bed. Why? Because what I want to accomplish the next day is more important than the outcome of that game. And I know that if I stay up until midnight, I'm not going to be getting up at 5 or 5:30, and then my whole entire day is going to be thrown off for that one game. So when you have that fourth quarter and you have the ability to reflect on your day, to begin to relax, and then to get into rest, man, you're going to set yourself up for a great day the next day. So I want you to think about this, friends. What quarter of your life do you need to maximize? Maybe you don't have any plan for your day right now. And if you don't, now's a great time to get started, right? But maybe it's one of those quarters that you're like, hey, I just need to dial in my morning routine. I need to dial in that 5 to 9 and really start to get disciplined on these things so that I make sure that they get fit in. Or you know what? I need to be more productive during the 9 to 5 hours at work. And I need to create some strategic time blocks with focus, especially if you're an entrepreneur, to where I can get these things done and there's nobody distracting me. Or maybe you need to set a system and a process around a specific part of what you do work-wise so that you can get more done and be even more productive. Maybe it's the family time, or maybe it is that you're not getting the kind of rest that is required. Especially for me at 43, I never realized the importance of sleep. Sleep is the best supplement that you can take. And I've always been a guy who works out and takes supplements and does all the stuff. But the reality is sleep is free, and it is the greatest supplement for your body. It is one of the greatest things that you can do to allow your body to repair and all those things. You can go down a rabbit trail, guys, on just sleep alone and do hours and hours and hours of research to figure out what's the best way to sleep. You want your room temperature to be about 67 to 68 degrees. You want everything to be completely blacked out in your room. Many times I'll sleep with a mask on or a black shirt over my eyes, and my phone's on airplane mode, so there's no dings in that. There's no EMFs in the room. We don't want the TV on. Maybe we'll put a sound machine on. Like, you want to create an environment for great sleep so that your body can recover. So here's the deal, friends. As we move into 2025, I want you to ask yourself the question, would this 4-quarter philosophy serve me? Or what quarter do I need to work on of my day, where if I can just get dialed in on this specific 4-hour time window or this specific 8-hour time window, that if I just dial in on this particular time frame, it will help me do the things that I need to do to get the things that I need to get done. I'm telling you, when I implemented this into my lifestyle years ago, when I began to start thinking like this, the 12-week yearbook was a game changer for me, beginning to start thinking in my years instead of like, hey, January through December, I've got this next year coming up, and instead saying, hey, listen, what if I just treated the next 12 weeks as if it was 12 months? And now all of a sudden I was in a position where I needed to really take action. I need to maximize every single day. And now I begin to start getting done more in 12 weeks than I was getting done in 12 months. All right. This is the same philosophy when it comes to your day-to-day operations and maximizing each day, where now I begin to start operating in 4 quarters. And now I'm literally, I feel like I'm getting 2 or 3 days in one by creating this habit, by creating this thought process, this system, if you will, of how to maximize your days. It's an absolute game changer. So, hey, friends, I want to encourage you, take the time, implement the 4 quarters into your life, figure out what do I need to do? Begin to think this way, begin to start acting in this way, and watch and see what happens. And here's the final kicker. If you feel like you've got many of these things dialed in, but you're not doing them, or you've struggled, then you might need some accountability. just being real. I love to close every episode with an invitation to, if you need more help in these areas, that's the reason why Champion Builders exist. It's all about helping people maximize their potential. And as I always say, the best athletes in the world, professional Olympic athletes, whatever, what do they all have? They all have a coach. Some of them have many coaches. And so if you are struggling in implementing things or learning things or staying on track with things, then you might need somebody to just walk alongside with you for a season to help you get to that next level. And that's what I do. And I would be honored to be able to help you. So if that's something you're interested in, send me a DM. Would love to talk and set up a strategy call. But friends, 4 quarters can change your life. When you learn to play this game of life full out for 4 quarters each day, leaving nothing left until the clock hits 0, that's how you will create game-changing results. And you will begin to live what I like to call your champion life, where you're winning in every single area. So, hey, friends, I love you. I hope this episode has been helpful. We'll see you on the next one, and God bless.